My name is Rowan Berridge from RBR, and I'm delighted to welcome Jakub Otáhal of Česká spořitelna and Martin Nagy Grotendorst of KAL, who will be speaking about rethinking the ATM channel. I'll hand over now to Jakub and Martin.
Let me welcome you all in the time of COVID. My name is Jakub Otáhal. I have been working for Česká spořitelna since 2016. The bank entered the path of the Agile 2 years ago, and I am the product owner of the ATM software innovation squad. We are the bank with the longest tradition on the Czech market. Since the year 2000, we have been a part of the strong Central European player Erste Group. Many of our products and services in the field are the leaders on the Czech market. And this also applies to our ATM network, which is the largest on the market with more than 1,800 ATMs and pay machines. Last year, we completed the migration of our ATMs to the multi-vendor platform KAL. Already during this implementation of this solution, we began to apply agile principles and selected elements of DevOps. The goal was to deliver changes to clients at the shorter intervals. We wanted to be more flexible in the responding to the innovations that the customers expect from us. And all this in best possible quality and at the same time with non-stop production operations. We currently release changes to production on average once every 4 to 6 weeks. This wouldn't be possible without combining development and operations into one team.
Thank you, Jakub. So thanks for the introduction, Rowan. My name is Martin. I work for KAL ATM software on the commercial side of the business. And in that function, I work closely together with Česká and Jakub here. So let's take a look. Thank you, Jakub, for the introduction. So what is it, DevOps? It's defined as a software engineering methodology which aims to integrate the work of software development and software operations teams by facilitating a culture of collaboration and shared responsibility. KAL ATM software and Česká spořitelna decided last year to start using a software development methodology called DevOps. The concept of this methodology is not new and is probably known and used by banks for their mobile applications and internet banking development. However, it is rather new when it comes to ATMs and the ATMs and ATM software development, as in it is not the most typically used development method. Knowing this, we started asking questions. Why is it not? Why? Is it even possible? What are the pros and cons? Well, I'm here to tell you that we found that the pros actually far outweigh the cons and would like to convey the message to you today that you too should look into what DevOps could mean for your ATM software development cycle. In its most fundamental form, the aim of DevOps is to shorten the software development lifecycle. So instead of 1 or 2 ATM software releases per year, you do one every 2, 3, or 4 weeks. And the way it tries to achieve this is by bringing together development and IT operations teams and facilitate a culture of collaboration and shared responsibility between those teams. Another way to explain this is by using silos as an example. Silos within an organization are unwanted and reduce cross-functional productivity. DevOps actively shatters these silos, and it does that even more than the Agile methodology, which is partly aimed at achieving that as well. So now let's talk about what we thought KAL and Česká could achieve together by using DevOps and why we opted to go down this road. It's actually quite simple. The main goal was to constantly update Česká's ATM software and to be able to quickly react to customer needs and also being able to introduce the latest ATM features as they become available. We wanted to achieve this by releasing ATM software updates with up to 30 to 40 small changes in each release every 3 weeks. So this is opposed to the more usual practice of updates Of course, nothing comes easy and without sacrifice. So let me tell you shortly about some important pitfalls to consider. The first one is culture change. It's commonly observed that you cannot just change a company's culture on command. You can influence the culture, shift it, and while it can evolve over time, it's nearly impossible to just instruct all employees to simply change the way they think and act about specific things. The culture of any organization starts, of course, at the top of the leadership hierarchy and trickles down throughout. It's thus essential that you get full dedication from top management down to everyone in the pipeline. And in order to do this, all involved teams need to understand the advantages of the shift that the shift is going to have on the organization and on the team members themselves. There are also technological challenges. There's a tendency for people to say DevOps and think automation, which on some level is true. Automation does enable us to maintain the high velocity pace of every DevOps process needed for the short development cycle. However, DevOps is not just automation. Any organization has to identify the areas where automation is most needed. In our case, that's the deployment and testing. And while this automation can be a good thing to ensure that the pace of operations can keep up with the continuous cycle of DevOps, it can also have unintended consequences if the automation is not set up properly and monitored. As you probably know, speed and security don't necessarily get along with each other very well. It's critical to the success of your DevOps initiative that you carefully consider a separate plan for security at every stage of your DevOps workflow. So any chain is only as strong as its weakest link. So it is critical to assure that the security of your DevOps processes is constantly strong across the entire workflow chain. Rapid development can lead to severe security shortfalls if there's not a separate plan of action to ensure that speed is not outspacing the security systems designed to protect the products. So these are some important things to keep in mind. And next, Jakub will indulge us with some of his first-hand knowledge and tell us more about how using DevOps impacted Česká in the real world.
Martin described what DevOps means. I will add what specifically this change brought to our bank for the benefits. Today, our ATMs also offer other services. However, withdrawals still account for 70% of the total number of transactions. What is the second most common transaction in our network? It's a balance query with 24% transactions. The third most common transaction, which makes up 3% of the total number of transactions, are deposits. And right after the deposits, which transaction is the most common? These are payments. To this number, we must add other services at our ATMs, such as recharging mobile cards to obtaining a loan, changing PIN, obtaining a bank identity or new ePIN, activating a bank card, displaying card limits, displaying debts limits, and so on and so on. Surely you feel that there is a need for the environment that is able to bring about change more than once or twice a year. It's important for our bank to be perceived as innovators in our market. By the way, we are probably the first bank to teach an ATM to send SMS messages to our clients just when they forget to withdraw cash or when they forget their ATM card. We will advise our customers on how to proceed, and it's very client-oriented. We just have to hope that the clients will not forget their mobile phones there. We are also the only bank on the market that allows instant payments on ATMs. For us, DevOps is a way to effectively develop and operate this digital channel. DevOps is not the target. DevOps is a never-ending journey. Step by step, we automate testing and deployment. We are still at the beginning of the journey when we unify the procedures for deployment in the development, UAT, pilot, and production environment through the TeamCity tool. We improve monitoring, for example, by implementing performance counters. We are gradually introducing automated tests in areas where it makes sense. That is stability, performance, DR, and also for the most used transactions. All these contributes to a higher quality of releases, and this gives us more time to design and pilot new services and technologies. If I have to quickly evaluate the last 12 months, we have deployed 50 new and requirements from all areas: regulation, adjustments for external and internal clients, platforms, and operations. In practice, this means an average of 40 change requests for one of 10 releases with minimum impact on production operations. That's more than 400 enhancements. By the way, our availability, which we report, is now 99.6%. And it's not for nothing that our ATM services are rated by our customers as the best of all banking services. DevOps works on the basis of absolute mutual trust between the development and production team. Therefore, the production team is invited to cooperate the product and services already in the design phase. On the other hand, the development team has a regular weekly review of the production. We maintain direct communication between developers, testers, and service owners who run the solution. The product owner does not interfere in the implementation of the requirements. All decisions are the decision of the team, and the team must agree on them in advance. Roles of testers who guarantee quality and analysts with a high level of security knowledge are roles that are as important as roles of product owner or developer. At the same time, we strive for as constant environments as possible. We are not pure DevOps, as we know it from the development of, for example, mobile application or microservices, but we are working to at least get as close to DevOps principle as the latest technologies can allow us. For example, one of the other DevOps principle assumption is that team members should be as substitutable as possible. The aim is to avoid unnecessary downtime, shorten implementation times, and use resources evenly.
Just to summarize, I wanted to emphasize what, in my opinion, are the two key elements that made this DevOps collaboration with Česká so successful. So those are the people, and by people I really mean people, not resources. Meaning you will need their involvement not only on a professional level but also on a personal and on a human level to create those stronger organizational bonds and really make them last. Number two is technology. You need the right technology partner. You know, I say partner because the level of commitment it takes from all stakeholders, internal and external, is the same. We as KAL are just as involved, committed, and part of the team, operating as a physical extension of Česká itself, you could say. So our ATM software K3A comes with a design studio to make customizations easy, which minimizes the time to market and gives Česká full control. I need to emphasize the importance of automation again here. KAL provides automated deployments. We do this via our advanced monitoring and diagnostics tool called KTC. And we also provide automated testing using KAL's automated testing system called CATS. These are both crucial parts that need to be covered by some level of automation, and it needs to be done in a smart way to really be effective. KAL's terminal handler called KTH is another key element in the technological setup at Česká. It minimizes the need for changes to the main host system, which would just be another dependency. Again, giving Česká more control over the whole software development process. And with that, we've come to the end of this presentation. I hope you have enjoyed listening to it and would like to thank you for your attention. Take care.
Thank you very much, Martin and Jakub, for a very interesting presentation there. I do have a question relating to COVID-19, which of course is very relevant right now. And I'd like to ask, how has COVID-19 impacted the DevOps process?
Thank you for the question. As everybody know, we all stay home and we work from homes, and the connections of our team members is remote. So it's obvious that we can say in general that the COVID situation helps to speed up the process of DevOps principles implementation in ATM environments ecosystem.
There has been generally a bigger push for automation, which is also convenient when you're not in the office constantly, and people learn to communicate with each other in other ways. And in general, we feel that it doesn't negatively impact the whole process. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. I have a couple more questions. I'd like to ask also, where you showed a graphic with the comparison between the three software development systems, you had Waterfall, Agile, and DevOps. It looks like the time sort of allocated for coding and testing on DevOps is significantly shorter. And you did mention also a short development cycle. Does this mean that there's a greater risk of experiencing problems when you actually roll out the software?
Well, the thing is that with shorter testing or shorter development cycles, you add less changes or smaller changes. So the whole point of DevOps is to actually minimize the risk of big issues, big bugs that needs to be fixed after huge releases with many changes. So we actually feel that because of the whole setup and the number of changes, it minimizes the issues, or at least the chance of having big issues. What do you think, Jakub?
I can confirm it. We focus on improving the deployment process to automate it as much as possible, to spend less time with the things you are doing every time same, and also automated testing supported, so you can run the test when you do the change and you see if the change you made didn't affect some other parts of the software. That's why in the graph it's getting smaller, but it doesn't mean that it should be less quality. So I just add what Martin said, and that's what we do or we experience in Česká.
I see, yeah. I was just going to ask about the culture change that you say is needed. How difficult was it to achieve that change of having the software development department and the software operations team working more closely together? And do you have any tips maybe for other banks that might be looking to go down the DevOps route with their ATM software?
I already said it. It's a journey, and that's nothing. You just do it from one day to other day. There is a lots of activities running in parallel through the whole. In our case, Česká, but in the whole organization. So it's from the reorganizing the teams, from that you think about the people who are making the software, who are operating the software, who are designing the software, about they are human beings, and that takes time, and you have to educate the people, you have to bring them together. Even they come from in our case, we have our development completely outsourced, and our vendors are from all across the board. So we are basically, it doesn't mean anything for us, and we are bringing the people together. and they start to understand to the responsibilities of the other roles. So they understand when I'm designing the software, I have to think in that moment how I will monitor it, how I will administrate that, and so that's really long run or long way. On the other hand, it's nothing which wouldn't be possible, and if you want to, I want to say, or you are thinking how that look, how long that take change. We are at this moment cooperating with KAL for 5 years, and the internal change in the bank, it was really, from the organization perspective, it began 2 years ago, and you can say 5 years it's too much. I don't think so. I think if you are working on it every day, so you get better every month and better. And our CEO says that the sky is no limit. So we are continuously working on it. Martin, sorry.
Yeah, do I have anything to add to that? Well, of course, yeah, for KAL, this is the first time as well to work with the DevOps methodology and release these software releases so rapidly. So it took quite some commitment and change from us as well. However, of course, we are a much smaller organization. Our hierarchy is pretty flat, which I think really helped us in this case. Our developers are quite independent and can easily, or at least it turned out they can easily adapt to new situations, and they did that really well with Česká as well.
May I add something at the end?
Please, yes.
You have to always put the customer at first. So that's, I think, the biggest cultural change. You have to always think about what the customers want, what they need. And in that moment, if you have that one, that's basically run on a good way.
Yes, agree.
Thank you.